Joining us now, we welcome John Savage. Most recently, the recurring role for you on the CBS drama SEAL team. Thank you for joining us, first of all. Here, I'm on the west side. You're in West Hollywood, not far from me. And we are both continuing as the numbers spike here in California to go through this pandemic with everyone else. How are you and your family doing?
Oh, well, we're doing okay. It's stressful. It's such an honor to be considered for an Emmy, which is a magnificent thing today in our world of our television world. It's incredible national networks taking on shows like SEAL Team. But just as a guest, on the show, because it shows a change of environment for people in service way far away. But it's going on now. And when this coming home thing, where there was a movie with that name, and I did it in The Deer Hunter with that last few scenes of dealing with our lives and definitely having to start a whole new life.
Mm-hmm.
And this, we see it, their interaction now overseas and the relationships while they're far away. For me to be able to play a father of a son and dealing with him through the help of course, a young lady.
Talk about that role. Emmett Quinn.
Yeah.
Father of Sonny Quinn, beloved character on that show. How did the role come to you? How did you come to the role?
I was interested in the show for a long time. My concern with people involved with the programs, for the show, with people involved in other programs involving vets and other people like SAW, Save a Warrior, Wounded Warrior, Gary Sinise's great effort with others for that. And Mission 22 out of Texas. There's a bridge to building the home active vet. I grew up with that as a child, post Second World War, Korean War, with my parents, my dad. After in service in the Corps, he lost his whole squad. Toughest kid on the block, 6'8", basketball, everything else. He had to make a little bit of effort every day that I witnessed with my mom. She had a college education. He didn't. This effort of coming home, I watched men come together as a little boy, to support each other in what I call recovery. And there's all kinds of people now involved with these veterans programs, doctors, nurses, police officers, firefighters, women too, who are working more, quite a bit more than they were 50, 70 years ago, and are taking more positions in authority, like in the military.
Mm-hmm.
Today, at home, our families are changing too. People coming home from military service, women having to take over as leaders of the family. This was, for me, this element in this TV show of being a part of that is so evident in our world now with what we're dealing with this virus, with the changing climate and the effect in many areas of our lives. And what men and women have been going through now more than we're conscious of in their service all over the world in the military for years.
Take us home for a second. I was literally talking to a buddy of mine, a fraternity buddy of mine, went to college with him. And he said, and I was talking about doing this interview this morning, and he said, if I'm correct, he said, he's older than I am, but I think he went to Kennedy Plainview High. And
yes.
I said, you did, didn't you?
Yes.
So, and back in those days, that's out near Old Bethpage, Long Island, where you grew up.
It wasn't that long ago.
Yeah, it wasn't that. It was like yesterday. But
it was like yesterday, yeah.
Did you have any idea you were going to wind up in this profession as an actor?
Honestly, with the support of others, I've gotten by in just about every area of my life. The teachers in school, I was, I was in kind of out there. I was a dreamer, but I had these little gifts. Like I could sing. I didn't think about it. I loved, like in church, they sang and I would sing, and I was hiding most of the time around. My dad could not sing at all, but he tried. He was, big, tall guy, and he was proud of being part of it. But my mom had a voice. She studied as a kid, and as a young one. And I got into music through the help of people who, like a couple in one of the churches we went to, Italian couple said, he can sing. Why don't we let him Why don't we just let us work with them? No, don't worry about it. Because we didn't have a lot of money, maybe, but they helped me and study every once in a while and popular tunes and opera. And the next thing I knew, I was working a little bit off Broadway with the help. I was singing in nightclubs with these people because they played in clubs. They managed some famous singers, opera people, and Al Martino became a friend in New York, or an associate. I was just a kid, but and some of his family, and I ended up on Broadway, Fiddler on the Roof, as a young man, very young, and worked with Bette Midler, who was in the chorus at that time.
And that would lead to all kinds of productions, including American Buffalo, including David Mamet.
That was years later, and God bless Bobby Duvall, because I had kind of gotten off the track, because I'd come to Hollywood and I was working on TV and theater, and then had an accident, and like everybody just dropped, as an agent or whatever. And I was doing okay. I knew Robert Duvall from New York, and he called me. He says, John, I'm coming out there. He says, have your lady cook something up. I'm bringing my friend Ulu Grossbard, who I had met years earlier, but I forgot, off Broadway. Watched the show with John Voight, and I think it was View from the Bridge, or one of those great plays by the great playwright. Anyway, he came to our house and offered me a play, and I went into shock. It was like a blessing, and we did American Buffalo on Broadway. And
one of the things, great directors that you have worked with, from Terrence Malick to Spike Lee. I mean, it goes on and on. Is there a common thread in the directors that you've worked with for some reason? Is there a common?
I think maybe they feel sorry for me. I don't know, but the idea that I get sometimes the best roles in the movie, the best changing moments. It may not be the leading role. People I have carried films, and that can be good, or just,
the volume of your work, the breadth, the depth. It is just amazing when you look back at your history. As we go through this change now from the pandemic, is going to be different. When you go back on set, whatever set that's going to be, right. What are you thinking about now? How do you perceive the changes?
Well, it's already, a big question. Everybody's ready to go right now, or months ago. We've got changes in our environment, and it's been going on for a while. Some people are literally losing everything because of the changes in climate. We don't talk a lot about that, but we did in the 60s make an effort to clarify what had already been started years earlier, was a consciousness of the effect of our industry on our world. So, nobody wants to talk about that. However, it's going to continue to happen. We're going to have bacteria appearing that's new. That's been going on for years. It changes itself quicker than we can. And the climate itself has destroyed a lot of areas of agriculture and lifestyles. And right now, we are being forced. I would say forced, but we can also just accept it. That with acceptance, we will be able to deal with these changes. The Japanese have healthier lungs than us. They started wearing masks 20, 30 years ago. Why? Because of the pollution in the urban areas. It's destroying our lungs. So this area of weakness in our lungs makes us more vulnerable to the virus that's here now.
First time I wore the mask was because of the fires out here, and you needed a mask. So
respect for each other, like that guy walking towards you is not a bank robber. He's got the virus too. He's got a mask on. Just give him a nod, we're doing this together. Let's keep our distance and not go crazy. We're going to get through this.
Final question for you, John. And you mentioned the Emmys. You are a contender for this year's Emmys. It will change. I've covered many a red carpet. This is going to be different. I don't know what it's going to be like. Maybe a virtual Emmys. We have no idea what will happen. But getting that nomination, getting that Emmy holds a special place. What is the significance of that award for you?
For this, it'll encourage me.
Or a nomination even.
Just the nomination for me is, I want this to be recognized that I was a part of this television series. This element of bringing vets close to us that are active now, showing their story. It's done well. It's really done well. The experience of a long time in service as a commanding officer, as David is in the series, losing people, not always feeling confident about the directions he has to choose. And, then coming home as an actor, playing a father of a young man coming home meant so much in this actual script. It works. It worked for me where I see it in real life. And for me to recognize this on television is another active effort for our networks to really bring us closer through television. Television can be really disturbing, or it can help us learn how to, like film can do and stories can do. Reading a little book about the animals to our kids, that's life. And it helps them get a picture of how it works sometimes getting through those things.
Well, we wish you much luck as the Emmy season moves on. I would love to talk to you again. I hope we do talk again soon. Good luck on the nomination. SEAL Team, the CBS television show, now streaming on CBS All Access. We'll see John Savage as a regular on SEAL Team. We thank you so much for joining us. Look forward to talking to you again. Stay safe, John, and have a great one. Thank you.
And thanks to our media and our medical people for all they're doing to help support. Thank you.